Good evening, it is Arthur, and tonight at the Authors Guild here in Mount Shasta, in the same building that the chai shop is in, and on Mount Shasta Boulevard, where the Art Walk is also. Woo! Come Friday, come up to here, to the Authors Guild, and check out our special. In fact, I think she's here right now. Would you like to say a word or two to the audience?
What are you talking about? What audience?
Say
Hi,
something.
how are you?
Oh, there they are. Hey, check this out. This lady, give your name.
Marcine Quenzer.
Hey, what do you do?
I'm eating right now.
Oh, taking a break. Wow. I tell you what, we will let her take that break and come back in a few moments. We'll be right back, and here we are with Marcine. Hey, Marcine, give us a little clue of what's happening tonight and this week.
Okay, we are at the Authors Guild in Mount Shasta, and we're doing a series of stories from the Iroquoian people about the path of peace.
The path of peace. Can you tell us which pictures are right here? Let's say this one right here.
Well, that one is out of the Mohawk prophecies, where the prophecies say in the last days that the trees are going to die from the tops down. And of course, this is a lot of what's happening right now. With all of our pollution, acid rain, chemtrails, our trees are dying from the tops down.
Okay, Marcine, so that seems like chemtrails and Mother Earth, and wow, it amazes me what prophecies have in store. So another one that maybe is in present time.
Well, this one, the top one up there, that's also from the Mohawk prophecies, where it says many of the animals are going to disappear from the face of the earth. And so this painting right here shows many of the subspecies. We're losing something like 10,000 species a month all over our earth. And so this right here is a portrayal of many of the plant life and some of the subspecies of animal life that are no longer present on our earth. All except Mother Earth, who holds her wolf.
That seems like a lot of animals that's disappearing. So I'm just going to run this around the Authors Guild front office and show you some pictures. And we're live.
Earth, and wanting to take care of her, can appreciate these stories as well. Then the next night, we're going to do the stories on the Great Peace Woman. Now, the Great Peace Woman is somebody hardly anybody has ever heard about. She lived way back, I don't know, 900 AD, somewhere like that. But she was very important in the story of how peace came to Turtle Island. And that has basically been the work that I've been doing for the last 28 years. The name of my book is called Spirit Winds of Peace. It's filled with 40 plates of my illustrations. But the title on the book is really interesting because as I got into these stories and finding out about them, I found out that Turtle Island had the peace imbued in its very DNA. And so when the peacemaker came, he woke up that DNA because it had gotten buried again. And as he did so, it was like this fresh breeze across Turtle Island that just woke everybody up. Well, because once I shift, I'll forget all about it.
47 minutes.
I am at the Authors Guild for the next 2 weeks. And during that time, we're going to be doing storytelling and wisdom teachings, earth knowledge. We're going to be doing a little bit of everything. And so we don't have the schedule set up yet, but you can stop by the Authors Guild, and hopefully we'll have that ready by Monday. That will give you an idea of what we're doing and what nights you might be interested in coming. As far as I know, all of these presentations are free. So you come and enjoy, get whatever information that is there for you. I have all my artwork there, because that's basically what I am as an artist. And I have my books. This one is actually my son's book. This one is free. We do ask for a donation, but it's given away free. We've also got it on CDs, and it's on the website, so you can get a business card that's got the website listed, and you can just go to the web and also read it. This is handy because you get to highlight it, and you get to make notes in it when you come across things that you want to know. We also have available the Earth Wisdom teachings, the Peacemaker story, and the story of the most powerful woman in North America, the great peace woman, Tecumseh. That all comes out of the Iroquois history. So we have that available, and then this is the book that I'm here promoting. This is 20 years in the making, and it's filled with 40 colored plates of my illustrations, which we're going to be talking about here, as well as the story of the Peacemaker and the peace epic that was the forerunner of our Constitution. So throughout the week, we'll be doing different stories and different teachings out of this. So, you had a question real quick.
Were your CDs not music, they were stories?
They're stories.
Okay.
One is a audio and the other one is a DVD. And then the free one is a PDF. It's got just the written word on it. So, okay, I think I'm ready now. Yahweh's Kana. Nayawensi Negahi means I'm glad to see all of you are well. And my name is Nayawensi. Nayawensi is my Indian name, and it basically means, it's a long story, but to cut it short, what it means is God's will be done. Just follow the path. I came to do this story about 28 years ago when I was doing an art show. And in walks this Indian with the black hair, and he's 6'2". And he's wearing starched Levi's and cowboy boots, and the old heart just goes pound. And I saw him walk in, and that was it. The fella I was dating actually showed up to take me home, and I says, I'm sorry, I'm going to dinner with him. Bye.
Oh, no.
And so that began. He came in, he saw my artwork, and he said, you are a fabulous artist, but you're doing the wrong subject matter. Some pickup line, huh? And I says, yeah, but what should I be doing? And he says, you should be doing Indian art. I said, well, I don't know anything about Indians. I'm this little white girl, lives in Boise, Idaho. And he says, I'll teach you. And he did. In the journey, one of the things that I heard from Spirit is he follows the path of Hiawatha. Or at the beginning, I misunderstood that to mean he was the reincarnated Hiawatha. No, he was more like the Tadadaho, the guy with the snakes in the hair. But a great teacher, a great, great teacher. One of the things that I learned from him is that his people back in 1830 is when that reservation down in Oklahoma was established. And his people that went down there went because two things were happening in New York. One was the missionaries, the changing into Christianity. And half the tribes did follow that path. The other path was that of Handsome Lake. Handsome Lake was a new prophet. He went into a 3-day stupor from an alcoholic binge, and they thought he was dead. And then they realized, no, they'd just wait for him to wake up from this alcoholic binge, and when he did, he woke up with a brand new religion. This religion was a mix of the Native American and Christianity. Well, these people that went to Oklahoma didn't want any part of that. They wanted to hang on to the old ways, the ways that were brought by the peacemaker. And as I began to understand and hear these stories, there's such a vibrancy, such beautiful images danced in my head, I had to paint them. But then, as I painted the story, I realized Nobody knew the story. Not even most Haudenosaunee knew the story. So then I began to gather the stories and put them together. And there's enough stories to paint and tell for 300 years. But I picked only 40 of them that I put in the book that tell the epic story and has the teachings in them that we need in our time of now, our today. And so, to begin with, this is a representation of great mystery. And in the very beginning of time, great mystery created everything spiritually that would ever be needed here upon this earth. That means created each one of us, created the four-legged, the two-legged, created every thought, every invention, everything that we would ever need. And this was held in a cornucopia, an upside down one with the earth inside of it. And so the elders tell us that even today that it is still there. And that if we only understood and believed and had the faith, we could create instantly, manifest instantly, right now, because it's still there. Well, the old ones knew that the way to bring things forward out in that manifestation was to pray with a thankful heart, to always say thank you, thank you, thank you, knowing that Creator would bring that manifestation forth in the proper time, in the proper way for just your needs. But today we're on this black road, and the black road says, gimme, 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 I want, I want, I want, I need, I need, I need. And the strange thing about Creator is He loves us so much that He's always saying, yes, you do. So when you say, I need, I need, I need, He says, yes, you do. Here's more need. If we say, I want, I want, I want, He says, yes, you do. Here's more want.
Law of attraction.
But if we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, knowing full well that it's there, it just has to be brought into the physical being, then He says, yes, and here's more, and here's more, and here's more. So this is how everything began. In the Iroquois legends, they separate them into different epics. And so the creation epic is this entire story, all of its own, that I could just take one evening doing just creation epic. In the world before this one, and they're very open about the fact that they came from another planet. They didn't come out of a mud hole here, and they didn't evolve here. They came from another planet, and they came here. This planet had been established as a peace planet among the Confederation. The fact that we're not holding peace at the present time is because of visitors that came from other planets and so forth. But this planet, the very DNA of the planet itself, is peace. And through our earth healing ceremonies, if we clear off these thought forms that have formed on it over all the eons of all the different races and nations and star beings coming here, that we can allow the peace DNA to then come forth and go all over the earth. Well, in this beginning world, above this one, there was a young woman. And this young woman was named Ventura Flower. But it came to be that she was kind of thrown out of Sky World. It was part of this overall plan to bring people to this earth. But when she was thrown out, the animals here saw her coming through this hole in the sky where this light was shining through. And they saw her and they thought, oh my goodness, if she falls in the water, it's going to be bad juju. We can't have that happen. So 2 birds flew up and they caught her. And now they're circling around over this water world that was here. And they said, oh my goodness, she's heavy. I don't know how we're going to keep this up. So the animals had a quick council and they decided that they would put soil on the top of the great big turtle. And that would become the home for this lady that was falling out of the sky, Sky Woman. So many animals went one after the other down. But when they couldn't get to the bottom because it was so deep and their lifeless bodies would float to the top. Finally, it became very apparent this is a suicide mission. Nobody wants to do this. Until Mother Muskrat said, I'll do it. And so now she swam, and she swam, And she swam, and she swam, till finally she scooped up a little bit of the soil that fell from Sky World on her little paw. And then she got up. But it was such a long ways that by the time she reached the top of the water, her body also was lifeless. Well, the other animals, they all swam out to her. And they tried to rescue her. But they discovered the soil that was on her paw. And so they put it on the back of the turtle. Now, Sky World's kind of a magic land. So as the soil was put on the top of the turtle, the soil began to grow. And it grew. And it grew until there was enough land for Sky Woman to be set upon. So she's put down on this. Now this part of the story shows us that the animals participated in the creation of the earth. Now Sky Woman, as she's here, she walks all over the earth. Everywhere she walks, she throws the soil to the four directions, and the earth springs up beyond what she could even see. Sky Woman, when she gets here, she's already pregnant. She's already carrying a child. In the before world, the child's name was Zephyr. When the child is born here, after the third day of Sky Woman being here, the child is named Long Tail, Fat Face, Lynx. Lynx becomes a very important name throughout the entire story because Lynx is the lineage from Sky Woman down to the clan mother that becomes the mother of nations, which is the Peacemaker story. So here is Long Tail, Fat Face, Lynx. And being 100% Sky Child, she grows very quickly so that it's not very long before she's with Sky Woman and they're going out and they're planting vegetation and helping to get the things to grow upon the earth. But before long, Lynx has become a young woman. And she realizes, Sky Woman realizes, that she's going to want a family of her own. She's going to want to have children, but you know, Sky Woman, she's looking at everybody here on this earth plane, and she's saying, I don't think there's anybody here that's good enough for my daughter. And so she tells Lynx, Lynx, you're growing up. You're going to want to have a family. But I want you to promise me that you will not marry without getting my permission. Now Lynx, she looks at this world and she says, who am I going to marry? There's nobody here. So yeah, Mom, whatever makes you happy, I promise I'll ask your permission before I get married. Well, Sky Woman has gotten old. She's no longer going out to help place the vegetation, to make the trees grow, and to plant the different herbs and so forth that the women take care of, because the women were in charge of the food. And so she is no longer being accompanied by Sky Woman. And so as she's out there, there is an elder earth spirit, North Wind. And North Wind sees this beautiful creature. Oh my gosh, she's the most gorgeous thing he's ever seen. He's got to have her. He's just got to have her. So he says, well, I've never seen anybody like this before. I don't really know how to go about doing this. So he kind of watches her and realizes she likes to play with all the little fuzzy animals. So he shapeshifts into a squirrel. He fills his cheeks full of nuts. He goes up to Lynx, lays the nuts at the bottom of where her feet are, and says, Lynx, will you marry me? Now, Lynx wants to have a family. She wants to be married. But this is a squirrel. So she thinks real quick, I have to ask my mother. I've got to get permission. So she goes and she asks Sky Woman if she can marry this squirrel. Sky Woman says, no way, you're not marrying a squirrel. That's not going to work. So she goes back and she delivers to North Wind as a squirrel this news. Nope, I can't marry you. That's not going to work. My mother says not. So now Northwind, he goes away, and he's feeling a little bit dejected, but he's not giving up. There's got to be a way to do this. So he thinks, and he thinks, and he sees a raccoon. Now this raccoon's got this mask that makes him look mysterious, and he's got rings on his tail. He's so fluffy and furry. I'll be a raccoon. So he shape-shifts into a raccoon. Goes to the stream, gets some pretty pebbles, washes them up. Now he goes to Lynx, gives her these pretty pebbles. Says, Lynx, will you marry me? Now Lynx looks at him and she realizes that beautiful black mask across his face and that big fluffy ring tail. I've got to go ask my mother before I can marry you. So she goes and she asks Sky Woman. Sky Woman says, no way, you can't marry this raccoon. So she comes back and delivers it to North Wind. Well, North Wind, what am I going to do now? So he keeps looking. He sees a fox, and he shape-shifts into a fox. And he goes to see Lynx. And as he sashays in, she sees him and his ears so perky, his eyes so wise, and that big, fluffy red tail with the white tip on the end. He's beautiful. Just takes your breath away. But he's a fox. I have to ask my mother if I can marry him. So now she goes, asks Sky Woman. Sky Woman says, no, you can't marry a fox. That's not suitable for you. So she goes back and she tells North Wind, I can't marry you. Oh, boy, North Wind. He's sick in his heart. He's sick in his stomach. He can't think. He can't eat. What's he going to do? Finally, out of options, he decides to go as himself. He combs out that long black hair. He sticks the feathers in it. He puts his finest paint on. Then he dresses in his finest buckskin. And he goes to meet Lynx. Well, Lynx sees him enter that clearing. She forgets all about asking Mom anything. And 9 months later, they have twins. Okay. Now there's two sets of twins. This is part of the story that's been lost in the annals of time. There were two sets of twins, 2 girls and 2 boys. This becomes known as the twinship principle. And we'll go into that a little bit. In that these children were the first of the Ungwe-Howe. Ungwe-Howe means real people. Because you see, they're half sky and they're half earth. Now, in the Iroquois way, the human race has got 3 spirits. You've got the sky spirit. Sky spirit is the spirit that always does things right, always knows the perfect thing to do, always is thinking of the highest spiritual for mankind. And then there's the earth one. Well, the earth one says, oh, yeah, I might know that's the right thing to do, but you know, I'd like to see what happens if we do this other. And so it's always in a trying piece. At the end of life, the sky spirit goes back to the land of the ancestors, while the earth spirit goes into the ground to be reincarnated again and again and again. In the Haudenosaunee way, though, reincarnation has nothing to do with karma. It has to do with the fact that you have special gifts, you have special knowledge that only you have. And you are bringing it back because the people need you now. So,
Notice the confirmation.
this represents these 4 twins. The 4 twins became the 4 directions. And so there is a lot of different things to talk about in this, which is what I wanted to spend the major of the time on. The two twins. Now, when they are born, there is one that is called Flint, and you see he's got this ridge across his head. He uses that ridge because Flint is more like the earth spirit. He's always impatient. He wants what he wants, and he wants it now. He doesn't want it later, he wants it now. While Sapling is the other one that's always thinking what's best for mankind and always of service, always giving. So when they are born, Sapling comes out the usual way, as do the two girls. But Flint, he says, I want out now. So he cuts through the side of the mother, and in so doing, kills her. So Lynx, when they bury her, from her head grows the tobacco, from her chest grows the pumpkin and the corn. Corn comes from the chest. Pumpkin and squash comes from her belly. Beans come from her fingers, and her toes bring potatoes. In this way, even though Lynx was the first mother of all Ongwe-Howe, she stayed with the earth. She actually became the spirit of the earth, making the earth a living, conscious being. That way she could stay near her children and continue to sustain them and nurture them with the different foods that she brought forth as well. So now we have Flint and Sapling, and they're kind of at odds. Grandmother Sky Woman, she is so angry at Flint for having killed her daughter that she just tosses him out, doesn't want anything to do with him. So poor Flint, he's out there and he's just trying to make do on his own. And of course this breeds competition, it breeds a lot of anger, that type of things within him. While Sapling, now being the favored, is, oh, look what I just did, Grandma. Look what I just did, Grandma. And Grandma's always saying, oh, Sapling, you're so good. Flint, why don't you be like Sapling? You just need to be more like Sapling. And so this continues. Sapling goes out and he makes calm waters that are placid and mirror-like that you can look at. Flint comes along and says, that won't do. He tosses rocks in and makes rapids so that you've got white water. Sapling makes plains, rolling hills. Flint comes along and he pushes up great mountains. Sapling says, oh, well, humankind can't get over those mountains. They're too tall. So he then carves in passageways through so that you have ways through the mountains into other valleys. So this type of thing continued with the earth. The women, because their story has been lost, so much of, we don't really know exactly how they participated in the creation and the finishing of the earth. We do know that the women did a lot of the foodstuffs because it was their responsibility to raise the children and to take care of the family. And through that, they also produced the reeds and the different type of things that would be used in baskets, in clothing, and in food, and whatever is needed in the household. And then they were skilled at creating these things. So essentially, everything in a home was made by the woman or belonged to the woman, while the men took care of the things of the forest. They took care of the trees. They would actually go out and plant different types of plant that would bring the game in, so that the hunting was never that hard, because it always drew in the deer, the elk, whatever it is that they wanted to hunt. They also were responsible for doing the types of things that the Indian men did. In the Haudenosaunee way, the women create the ceremonies, but the men are the ones who officiate. The men act and talk in response to what the women's desires are. So now, as we've gone through, we're at a point in time where the earth has been created and it's nearing its completion. But Flint, he has just gotten to this point where nothing he does works right. they try to make, he's seen this little bird that Sapling made. And it was beautiful, it was colorful, and it sang so beautiful because of the song that Sweet Blossom gave him. And so Flint says, I'm going to make me one. And he goes to his brother and he says, how did you do that? And Sapling says, well, the earth is alive, so I just took part of the earth and I made it and I created it. And then I breathed life into it. So Flint says, oh, I can do that, that's easy. So he goes to his lodge and he works and he works. Brings his brother the first one. Look what the bird I just made. His brother looks at it and says, that's not a bird, that's a fly. Oh well, we've got use for a fly, we'll keep your fly. So then Flint goes back and he works again. Okay, brother, here's my bird. And Sapling says, no, that's not a bird. I've never seen anything like that. We'll call this a butterfly. And off flew the butterfly. So finally, Flint's working and he's working and he's working. He finally came up with this one. It was black, covered with fur, with naked arms. And when it flew through the air, it went eek, eek, eek. All right, brother, look at this. Sapling says, oh, brother, no. So many of your creations are scary to humans. So we're going to have to make it come out at night. Only at that time there wasn't any night and there wasn't any day. Everything was just one time. So Sapling went to Sky Woman's brother, asked him to come and be the sun. And so now we have night and day. Now Sapling, being the very fair individual that he is, divided between his brother and himself night and day. But it isn't the usual night and day. What it was from noon till midnight, so that each one had an equal amount of day and an equal amount of night. This is called, the boys are split. The boys take the direction of the sky, which means they follow the sun as it goes across the sky down from east to west. The girls, however, split the sky, which means they go from north to south. This is a symbolic. Many of you are aware of the little medicine wheel with the four corners. This is symbolic. Well, here it is. This is symbolic right here of that particular division. So as things have continued to progress, it is now time to bring forth man. And so Sapling makes mankind, and they are beautiful. They are lithe. They move with so much agility, so much ability. And Flint is just enamored. He's got to make a person. So Flint goes back to his lodge. He takes some of this earth and he tries to make a person. But his person is big and tall and hairy. And he made Bigfoot. So now it comes an afternoon when Flint and Blue Lynx, his counterpart, decide to go visit Sweet Blossom and Sapling. And as they come to the river, Flint doesn't want to make a canoe. He doesn't want to make a raft. He wants to go across that river right now. And because of his emotions, the river freezes. Now he's got an ice bridge to run across. But on the other side, he's frozen Sapling's flowers. And he's frozen Sapling's trees. And everything that Sapling had been working on was now frozen solid with ice. Well, Sapling comes out of his lodge and he says, oh my, I didn't know my brother could do this. So this is when Sapling decided to make the 4 seasons. And Flint took the fall and the winter, and Sapling took the spring and the summer, when new things could be grown, and during Flint's time it would go to sleep. Now, in actuality, when you divide that among the 4, Lynx takes the north, and her color is blue, blue lynx, color blue. The daughter of North Wind, whose color is blue, And it's blue because the ice in the far north has a color of blue in it. So you see this blue being repeated and repeated and repeated. Sweet Blossom takes the south, the summer, and then the two boys, it bleeds over. And so what you'll notice in this is it is not opposition. Today in our society, so much of it is man against woman. It's black against white. It's good against evil. That's not the way it is. It is complementary. It takes both to complete and make a whole. Just like half the day there is sunlight, half the day there is nighttime. They go together. They're complementary. They work in cooperation. So this was the relationship between men and women as well. One of cooperation, each one taking those jobs that they were best suited to and being able to do. So as Flint has just created the winter, and we've got the 4 seasons now. So basically everything is set forth and is ready for mankind to inhabit it. What I would like to share with you at this time, because what we're talking about is twin flames. This right here is the twinship principle, the fact that we work together in cooperation, not in opposition to each other, but we complement each other. What one can do this way, someone else lifts to it and adds to it. Whether it's filling in because you've got a gift that that person doesn't have. Like, for instance, I'm not any good at PR. So I need a good PR person. So that works really good for me. I wanted to share with you this book is the book of Elijah. And this is what Jesus had to say about twin flames. There are many, many souls on earth that are bonded with the one, and the one that make one. They are bonded together in one flesh, one mind, one purpose, and know of their true bonding. And therefore you must look inside yourself, which you do not do in this regard. He says that lots of times we walk right past that person that was meant for us because they don't look or they don't sound or they're something we find wrong with them, and we walk right by them because we're not looking inside to see the spiritual. It gives so much more power to the two that you cannot comprehend. That power for it is the power to overcome all obstacles that man does to man, and the power to show the love to others. The peace and the contentment of the two that make one is the true bonding. And this is the way it is, the way it will be, the way it has always been. But you do not worry about the things from the past, for the past takes care of itself. And that is the way it will be. That is the way it is. For all men, there are unions that are set up for spiritual unions of total bonding. Now I'd like to share just a little bit with you out of my book. This is a channeling from Sky Woman. And she had a message about love in here. And when I began this, my intention was for you to think of the earth as your twin flame, as your twin soulmate. Through the twinship principle, how all of us have worked to create her in the beginning of time, how each one of us have participated in creation, even today as we walk the earth. What we do, what we think, what we say, what we pray, what we sing, what we create with our hands and our minds, all become part of Mother Earth. So we need to be conscious of exactly what it is that we are creating and the energy that goes out there. So this is Sky Woman's thought I had it marked. All right, bear with me. When you bring peace within your being, it brings a comfort, a knowing that preserves love. When you find even the smallest way in which you do not support love and correct it, then you bring more love into the world. You manifest more physical aspects of love here in your planet, in its energy makeup, in its grid, in all of its physical beingness, in its breath, and therefore promote advancement toward its pristine condition. Same as with your physical beingness. As you draw peace, love, joy within you, it creates a healthier joining of all your particles that makes up your beingness. You once upon your planet had a great teacher. This teacher expressed to you these original instructions. His expression was simple: love one another. Consider this: if you truly love one another, and this is your basic building blocks, to build another, to raise one up spiritually and physically in your world of now, it hurts the hearts of all of us who gaze upon it, for the dreams of this planet were of such greatness, and yet those who inhabit it have forgotten the greatness that is within them, the greatness that was implanted in the entire sphere, and have allowed themselves to be pulled down so that they hardly are recognizable as children of the great star system. When one is directly connected to Central Source, one understands the entire makeup of the universe, how all things operate in love. Even love has its understanding changed. In your language, it is extremely limiting, for love is what we call the smallest particle of creation. It is what we call the energy that creates all things. Love in of itself is perfection. It has such greater meaning than what your world puts on it. If you were to look at love as a scientific principle, which it surely is, then you would understand that love is a component. It is the physical energy or matter that creates and binds all things in your physical world. Want to thank all of you. We've had a lot of really good words today, and many of the speakers before me were in total alignment with my beliefs, my feelings, my thoughts. I want to thank all of them for the beautiful words that they imparted today, for the great energies that they brought here. I want to thank all of you for the beautiful spirits that you have come to fill this space with, not only yours, but your guides, guardian angels, ascended masters, and your ancestral beings that have joined with you this day. I've never done this before. I'm not a singer. But I wanted to sing a song to Mother Earth to honor her. What the words of this song means is that we are all related, walking upon the earth as she spins around. Hope to see you all this week down at the Authors Guild. sometime doing something, one of the things we're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.